How's it going, guys? It's Artifact, and today I've got a bass which is inspired by...
To treat Omicron patients. Doctor...
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really want to have to make this, but I'm really, I've been a bit upset and a bit annoyed because I was planning to go to England for Christmas, and I had not been there for 2 years. And I really wanted to see my family over there and couldn't because they changed the rules. And yeah, long story short, I'm staying in Germany, but I've tried to translate my emotions into sound design, which is kind of the best therapy for me, it seems. And I've made this bass for you guys, so let's have a quick listen to the loop. And on this one, I've actually gone a little step further, and I've actually made some macros in it, so we can kind of play it with the bass as it's kind of going through the loop this time. So let's have a little listen, shall we?
To treat Omicron patients. Doctor... Omicron. Doctor... Doctor... Omicron. Doctor... Doctor...
I especially like this last one here, the spreader. Kind of makes everything go a bit weird and wacky. But anyway, yes, let's go over this patch quickly. I've included it down below as a free preset because, yeah, I kind of just did this for therapy and we're all like in the same boat anyway. So like, here it is, you know, you can use it. And yeah, I think it does sound pretty cool actually. Yeah. Anyway, what I've done is I've put in the sample, I cut out the word, you know, chucked it into the sampler here. And there's a couple of cool tips in this tutorial today, which are some things I haven't really done before yet. Yeah, so the main kind of way that we've made it then, oscillator 1, it's the lowest sine wave, so it's got the sub bass in there, you know, and that's frequency modulating from the sample a little bit to get a bit of that texture in there, because now I've got the sub part in the bass already, and I've got a bit of texture in the high end. So the next thing, I want to add a bit of mid-range and some width as well. So this one here is, again, frequency modulated from the sample, but it's an octave up, so it's doing a bit more of that low mid-range frequency. And then it's also unisoned a bit, so it's got just on the sides, so it's a bit of a wider kind of part to the sound. But the sound's not complete yet. And the third one is the real growly mid-range part. So if you listen to that part is really, really super growly because it's modulating from the first sine wave. So it's a sine wave going into a sine wave on the FM, which is what creates that really nice kind of growl sound, you know? So that one is also left at mono, and all of these three are playing together and the vocals playing together. So I'm leaving all the audio running through. And then there's just a few modulations on the LFO one, and I've tried to match the speed of the word, like it kind of is almost there. It's not quite right, but just getting it kind of roughly going up and down the same way the kind of word does. And then I've put that on a few little things. The time skew effect on this main sub, which kind of makes it a bit more gritty. Just at the end, you know, when it gets up to the top here. Yes, I quite like that. And then the FM sample amount, I think just on these two guys down here, that just goes up and down a little bit, just to add a little bit of life into the wave tables before we go over to the effects and everything. And yeah, a little bit of filtering going on here, just mixed in slightly. And then on our effects, we just have an EQ to take out this kind of spike that was in the high end, because if you kind of look at the span, you know, I have filled out the whole spectrum pretty well, but in the high end there are these kind of nasty resonances where the FM from the sample and the sine wave is just going a bit too crazy, right? So especially here, you see around 3K is quite a big spike there. So if I go back to my EQ and I can kind of find where that is, maybe it's there actually. Yeah. You sort of take that out a bit and it becomes a little bit smoother. Same with the compressor. It's kind of just like, yeah, just adding a bit more high end, although I don't know if that's super necessary. So let's take it down a little bit here. Bit smoother. Driving it all together with distortion, and finally a bit of low pass at the end. If I have the mix up full, you know, the cutoff is also on my LFO here to give it a bit of a shape, you know. But if I mix that back again, so we just have a little bit of that low pass feeling in there. Just gives the whole sound a little bit more kind of movement, you know. It's a subtle thing, but it does make quite a difference if you have it turned off or on. Yeah, it is subtle, you know. But I can tell that, you know, having that little tiny extra bit of movement makes it seem more natural, you know. And if you can't really hear it, just turn it up a bit more, you know. Till you find the perfect balance. And I think that's about it for the main part of the sound. And then I'll go on to the kind of effects that I've done to it, right? So what I was doing, I was playing around with the pitch of the different octaves here. I'm trying to get like some nice pitch bends going on. And it wasn't until I dropped the LFO onto the sample rate and it was up really, really high that it started to make this crazy effect, which you hear when I turn this up. And the reason why it's doing that is it's because it's turning the pitch of the sample up and down really, really quickly. But because like pretty much all of these oscillators are like starting off with the sample running into them, it's kind of having this knock-on effect where it's just like crazily affecting the whole patch, right? But it actually sounds pretty dope if you ask me. And if you used it like in little glitches and like blips, you know, you could have like these little kind of accents or like fluttery little intonations. That's not the word. Oh, you know what I mean. Little like kind of bits of magic that come into the sound. And just by kind of modulating the macro here. And yeah, if you kind of listen to what it's doing with this vocal section here. So if I turn up the vocal knob, it basically just turns off all the oscillators and leaves the sample on.
Omicron.
So we just have that. And then you can kind of hear what the spreader's doing. It's making the pitch of the sample just go up and down, you know? And then, you know, running it through all the oscillators when I turn this back again. Obviously at different speeds it has a different rhythm as well, you know, so you can play it with your drums or whatever and find a nice little groove, chop it out, happy days. But I think the best way to use it would be to leave the patch kind of how it is. You know, and just find these little magic, little quick spots where you can automate the vocal or the spreader up and down. That's what I'd do anyway. And then I'd kind of record that and then bounce it out and then, yeah, see where we go from there, really. But yeah, I hope you enjoy that little bass that I made for you guys today. As I said, it's a free one. We're all in this together, so it'd be rude of me to charge you for it. Yeah, so go ahead and grab it and play with it. And yeah, most importantly, stay creative. You know, try to just stay strong and, you know, keep doing your thing. And yeah, hopefully by sometime next year, we'll see a bit of normality return. Anyway, that's at least what I'm hoping for. But what do I know? I'm just a YouTube sound design vital dude. Anyway, have a wicked day, guys, and feel free to message me on Instagram or Discord if you want to just talk about how to layer up your hi-hats while you're soaking in the bathtub. I don't know. Peace. Bye.